The silent colony's captain Maria Vasquez floated through the empty corridors of mining station Omega-7. Her magnetic boots clicked against the metal floor with each step, the only sound breaking the absolute silence that shouldn't exist in a facility meant to house 3,000 workers. The station orbited Kepler 442b, one of humanity's most productive mining colonies, extracting rare minerals essential for quantum drive technology. But now, it was a ghost town floating in the darkness of space. Her team spread out behind her, their weapons drawn and sensors sweeping every corner. Lieutenant Chen moved to the main computer terminal, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. The blue light from the screens cast eerie shadows across his face as data streams flowed past. Something terrible had happened here, and they needed answers fast. The discovery had come 3 days ago when the regular supply ship arrived to find no response from the station. No distress signals, no communication blackout warnings, just silence. The corporate executives back on Earth initially assumed equipment failure, but Maria knew better. She had been investigating similar incidents across 7 different systems for the past 2 months. Each time the pattern was the same. Thriving human settlements suddenly going dark without warning or explanation. Chen looked up from his terminal with concern etched across his features. The life support systems were manually shut down from the inside. The timestamp shows it happened exactly 17 days ago at Oro 300 hours station time. But there are no bodies, no signs of struggle, no evacuation logs. It's like everyone just vanished into thin air. Maria moved to the observation window, gazing out at the mining platforms that should have been bustling with activity. The massive extractors hung motionless in space, their lights dark and mechanical arms frozen mid-operation. This was the 8th colony to suffer the same fate, and the pattern was becoming impossible to ignore. Someone or something was systematically targeting human settlements, and they were doing it with surgical precision. Dr. Sarah Walsh, the team's xenobiologist, entered the command center carrying a portable scanner. Her usually calm demeanor was shaken. "Captain, you need to see this. I found traces of an unknown energy signature in the ventilation systems. It's unlike anything in our database, but it shows signs of being artificially generated. This wasn't a natural phenomenon or equipment failure. We're dealing with advanced technology, possibly alien in origin." The word alien hung in the air like a physical presence. Humanity had been exploring space for nearly 2 centuries, establishing colonies across dozens of star systems. They had discovered primitive life forms on several worlds, mostly bacteria and simple organisms, but never encountered another spacefaring civilization. The possibility had always existed, discussed in academic circles and military strategy sessions, but the reality of it sent a chill down Maria's spine. She activated her communication device, establishing a secure link to Earth Command. "This is Captain Vasquez reporting from Mining Station Omega-7. Confirming total loss of colonial personnel, approximately 3,000 souls. Evidence suggests external intervention using unknown technology. Requesting immediate fleet deployment, and initiating Protocol 7. Protocol 7 was the code for potential hostile alien contact. Within hours, the message would reach Earth, setting in motion a chain of events that would change humanity forever. But Maria couldn't wait for reinforcements. She needed more information, and she needed it now. Chen suddenly straightened at his station, his eyes widening. "Captain, I'm detecting an active signal buried in the station's emergency beacon. It's transmitting on a frequency we don't use, sending data packets to something in deep space. The signal started broadcasting the moment we docked with the station. They were being watched." Maria felt the weight of that realization settle on her shoulders. Whatever had taken the colonists knew humans would come investigating, and they had left a calling card. She made a quick decision that would later be credited with saving humanity from complete annihilation. She ordered her team to download everything from the station's computers and collect samples of the energy signature. They worked quickly, knowing that whoever was receiving that signal might already be on their way. As they prepared to leave, Chen made another discovery that changed everything. The station's deep space sensors had captured something before everyone disappeared. It was a massive fleet of ships unlike anything in human records. The vessels were crystalline in structure, seeming to bend light around them in impossible ways. The computer had managed to translate fragments of intercepted communications before the colonists vanished. The translation was rough, but the message was clear. The humans spread like a virus through our galaxy. They multiply without control, consuming resources and disrupting the natural order. The Vorthak Empire has decided. The infestation must be cleansed before it spreads further. Begin the harvesting. Maria read the translation 3 times. Each word hitting harder than the last. Harvesting. They weren't just killing humans, they were collecting them. For what purpose, she couldn't imagine, but the implications were horrifying. 8 colonies, nearly 50 million people hadn't been destroyed. They had been taken. The journey back to Earth took 2 weeks using emergency jump protocols. During that time, Maria's report had reached the highest levels of government and military command. By the time her ship docked at Luna Station, the entire solar system was on high alert. Earth's orbital defense platforms were activated, and the combined fleets of all human nations were being recalled from their patrol routes. The emergency session of the United Earth Council convened in the deepest bunker beneath Geneva. Representatives from every nation, colony, and corporate territory were present, either in person or through quantum communication links. The evidence Maria's team had collected was presented in full detail, showing the systematic nature of the attacks and the advanced technology being employed. President Alexandra Hayes stood before the assembly, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's future. We face an enemy that sees us not as equals, not even as adversaries, but as pests to be exterminated. The Vorthak Empire, as they call themselves, has already taken 50 million of our people. They believe humans are inferior, a contamination. In their perfect galaxy, they have made a fatal error in judgment. The room erupted in angry voices calling for immediate retaliation, but General Marcus Thompson, Earth's supreme military commander, raised his hand for silence. He activated a holographic display showing the enemy fleet captured by the mining station sensors. The Vorthak ships outnumbered humanity's entire military fleet by a factor of 10. Their technology was clearly superior, and they had the advantage. Of surprise, however, Thompson continued. We have advantages they don't expect. Humans have survived everything the universe has thrown at us. We've adapted to every environment, overcome every challenge. The Vorthak see our rapid expansion as chaos, but it's actually our greatest strength. We don't just survive, we thrive under pressure. And now they've given us a reason to show them exactly what humanity is capable of. Dr. Walsh presented her analysis of the energy signature found at the mining station. The key to their technology appears to be a form of crystalline matrix that manipulates quantum fields. It's incredibly advanced, but it has a fundamental flaw. The crystals are vulnerable to specific electromagnetic frequencies. If we can generate the right harmonic resonance, we might be able to disrupt their systems. The Council made its decision unanimously. Humanity would not negotiate with those who saw them as vermin. Every factory would be converted to military production. Every scientist would work on countering Vorthak technology. Every able-bodied human would be trained for war. The species that had conquered Earth's harshest environments and reached for the stars would not go quietly into extinction. As the meeting concluded, a new signal was detected at the edge of the solar system. The Vorthak had sent an ambassador, though their message suggested it was more of an ultimatum than a negotiation. The crystalline ship approached Earth slowly, broadcasting on all frequencies. Humans of Earth, we are the Vorthak Empire. We have ruled this galaxy for millennia, maintaining order and balance. Your species represents chaos, spreading without purpose or control. You have been selected for harvesting. Your biological material will serve a greater purpose in our experiments. Resistance will only increase your suffering. Submit to the natural order. President Hayes personally composed humanity's response, broadcasting it not just to the Vorthak ship, but across every human colony and settlement. Her words would echo through history, as the moment humanity truly united as one species. To the Vorthak Empire, you have taken our people and threatened our existence. You see us as inferior, as pests to be eliminated. Let me be clear in our response. Humanity does not submit. We do not surrender. And we do not forgive. You have awakened something that should have been left sleeping. Every human alive now shares one purpose, one goal. The complete and total destruction of the Vorthak Empire. You wanted to see what humans are capable of? You're about to find out. The Reckoning. The transformation of human civilization happened with a speed that stunned even the most optimistic military planners. Within 6 months of the Vorthak ultimatum, every human world had become a fortress, every citizen a soldier, and every scientist a weapons developer. The discovery of the Vorthak's crystalline vulnerability had sparked a technological revolution that compressed decades of advancement into months. Admiral James Rodriguez stood on the bridge of humanity's new flagship, the UES Vengeance, watching as the coalition fleet assembled near Jupiter. 700 ships representing every human nation and colony formed up in perfect formation. It was the largest military force humanity had ever assembled, but it was more than just ships and weapons. It was the concentrated fury of a species, pushed to the brink. His second-in-command, Commander Yuki Tanaka, approached with the latest intelligence reports. The data from captured Vorthak technology had revealed something unexpected. The empire that claimed to rule the galaxy was actually much smaller than they pretended. They controlled only about 300 systems through fear and technological superiority. Their actual population was less than half of humanity's, but their advanced technology had allowed them to dominate younger species for thousands of years. Rodriguez studied the tactical displays showing the Vorthak positions. They had established a forward base in the Crimson Nebula, using it as a staging ground for their harvesting operations. The nebula's unique properties interfered with most sensors, giving them a significant tactical advantage. But humanity had learned to turn disadvantages into opportunities. Dr. Walsh had led the team that developed humanity's secret weapon. Using principles derived from Vorthak technology, but combined with human innovation, they had created quantum disruption torpedoes. These weapons could destabilize the crystalline matrices that powered Vorthak ships, causing them to literally shatter from within. The first successful test had exceeded all expectations, and now every human ship carried a full complement of these weapons. The battle plan was audacious in its simplicity. Rather than wait for the Vorthak to attack Earth, humanity would take the fight to them. The coalition fleet would strike at the Crimson Nebula base, destroying their forward operations and sending a clear message that humans were not prey, but predators. As the fleet entered hyperspace, Rodriguez addressed all ships. Today we show the galaxy that humanity will not be harvested, conquered, or exterminated. We fight not just for ourselves, but for our children and all future generations. The Vorthak believe in order and control. We'll show them the power of human chaos. All ships prepare for combat. Let's remind them why humans are the apex predators of Earth. The emergence from hyperspace into the Crimson Nebula was perfectly coordinated. 700 ships appeared simultaneously, surrounding the Vorthak base from all directions. The enemy's response was immediate but disorganized. They hadn't expected humanity to develop hyperspace technology capable of such precision, especially within the nebula's interference field. The first wave of quantum disruption torpedoes struck the Vorthak defensive platforms. The crystalline structures that had seemed so invincible shattered like glass, sending fragments spinning into space. The human fleet pressed forward, their conventional weapons now effective against the compromised Vorthak shields. Commander Tanaka coordinated the fighter squadrons, thousands of small, agile craft swarming the larger Vorthak vessels. Human pilots, trained in video games since childhood and hardened by months of intense preparation, outmaneuvered the Vorthak automated systems. Where the enemy relied on calculated precision, humans brought unpredictability and adaptability. The battle raged for 6 hours. The Vorthak fought with the desperation of those who had never known defeat, but humanity fought with the fury of those who had everything to lose. When the last Vorthak ship in the nebula was destroyed, The human fleet had lost only 73 vessels. It was a victory that announced humanity's arrival as a major galactic power. But Rodriguez knew this was just the beginning. The captured Vorthak databases had revealed the location of their homeworld and the full extent of their empire. The debate in Earth's War Council was fierce. Some advocated for a defensive position, using the victory to negotiate from strength. Others wanted to press the advantage while the Vorthak were reeling. President Hayes made the final decision. The Vorthak had shown no mercy to human colonies, taking 50 million people for their experiments. They would receive no mercy in return. The order was given for Operation Extinction, the complete dismantling of the Vorthak Empire. The journey to the Vorthak homeworld took 3 months. Along the way, the human fleet liberated 7 species that had been subjugated by the Vorthak for centuries. Each freed world added ships and resources to the coalition, swelling the fleet to over 1,000 vessels. The galaxy was witnessing something unprecedented, a young species leading a rebellion against ancient oppressors. The Vorthak homeworld was a testament to their obsession with order. The entire planet was covered in crystalline cities, each structure perfectly geometric and aligned. There was no variation, no creativity, just endless repetition of the same patterns. It was beautiful in its precision, but sterile in its perfection. The Vorthak Supreme Council sent a final message as the human fleet took position around their world. You have proven more resilient than anticipated. We offer terms. Return our technology, withdraw from our space, and we will cease harvesting operations. This is our only offer. Rodriguez personally delivered humanity's response. You took our people. You called us pests. You threatened our extinction. Here are our terms. Unconditional surrender, the immediate return of all harvested humans, and the complete dismantling of your military capabilities. You have 1 hour to comply. The Vorthak response came in the form of their ultimate weapon, a planetary defense system that created a crystalline shield around their entire world. It was technology beyond anything humanity had encountered, seemingly impervious to all attacks. For a moment, it seemed the war might become a prolonged siege. But humanity had one more surprise. Dr. Walsh and her team had discovered that the Vorthak's greatest strength was also their greatest weakness. Their entire civilization was built on crystalline technology, all operating on the same quantum frequency. If that frequency could be inverted, it would create a cascade failure throughout their entire infrastructure. The quantum disruption bomb was humanity's most terrible weapon, designed for this single purpose. It wasn't meant to destroy the Vorthak people, but their ability to wage war. When detonated in orbit around their homeworld, it would permanently disable all crystalline technology on the planet and in the surrounding system. Rodriguez gave the Vorthak Supreme Council one final chance to surrender. Their response was silence. With a heavy heart but steady hand, he gave the order. The bomb detonated in a flash of light that could be seen from neighboring star systems. In an instant, every piece of Vorthak technology on and around their homeworld ceased to function. Their cities went dark, their ships became lifeless hulks, their weapons became useless crystals. The species that had ruled through technological superiority for millennia was suddenly reduced to a pre-spaceflight civilization. They were not extinct, but their empire was dead. The aftermath of the war reshaped the galaxy. Humanity established itself as the protector of younger species and the liberator of the oppressed. The 50 million harvested humans were found in Vorthak stasis facilities and returned home, traumatized but alive. The Vorthak were confined to their homeworld, forbidden from developing space technology for 1,000 years. Some criticized humanity for being too harsh. Others said they had been too merciful. But the message was clear throughout the galaxy. Humanity would not be anyone's prey. They had evolved from hunters on the African plains to hunters among the stars, and those who threatened them would learn why humans had become Earth's dominant species. Years later, when alien historians wrote about the war, they noted something remarkable. Humanity could have exterminated the Vorthak completely, could have taken revenge for every harvested human. But they chose judgment over vengeance. confinement over extinction. It was this balance of fury and mercy that truly announced humanity's maturity as a galactic civilization. The last transmission from the Vorthak Supreme Council before their technology failed would be remembered as one of history's great admissions of defeat. We underestimated you. We saw chaos where there was adaptability. We saw weakness where there was resilience. We saw pests where there were predators. The galaxy belongs to you now, humans. Use it more wisely than we did. And so ended the Vorthak Empire, not in extinction, but in irrelevance. Watching from their darkened world as humanity led the galaxy into a new age of cooperation and exploration. The species that had tried to harvest humanity had instead planted the seeds of their own downfall. The hunters had become the hunted, and the pests had become the dominant force in the galaxy.